I was elbow-deep in grease when I heard the first round of applause. Out in the driveway, under the fairy lights, Lacey was laughing with some slick-looking guy in a cashmere coat. My wife's sister. The golden child. The in-laws were near throwing roses at her feet. "That's our Lacey," my mother-in-law shouted, loud enough for anyone within 2 blocks to hear. "Top regional manager at Sterling and Gold. She's only 28. I wiped my hands on a rag, the smell of oil and cold metal thick in the air. "My name's Vince. I'm 39. I live in Newark, Ohio, and I run Ironwood Auto Customs, a full restoration shop with contracts most gearheads only dream about. I've been featured in Barrett Jackson's catalog, made 6 figures last year, built a Shelby from the chassis up. But apparently, none of that matters when your last name isn't etched in real estate gold. Quick note, before we go any further, share which city or country you're watching from. Back in the house, I could hear the crowd buzzing, champagne clinking. Someone asked where I was. I heard my wife answer, soft and careless. "Oh, Vince? He's around. He's always good at fixing things." I froze, still holding the chrome air cleaner cover I'd just finished polishing for a '67 Mustang build. Fixing things. That's all I was to them, a guy with calloused hands and a shop apron. Not a business owner, not a boss. I walked inside with the tray I made. Real walnut, dovetailed joints, hand sanded. I set it on the kitchen island right in front of them, loaded with their imported cheeses and curated meats. Everyone turned, not to me, but to the tray. "There he is," my mother-in-law said, fake as hell. "Always handy with tools." My wife piped up. "Vince built that tray." Quiet, almost embarrassed. "Oh, well, that's nice," her mom said, already turning to Senator Bauer's wife. Like I wasn't standing 2 feet from her. Then came the dagger, that tight little smile from Bauer's wife. The one people give waiters when they bring the check. I've led tours through million-dollar garages. Celebrities have paid to see my work. But tonight, I was the guy who might help hang a ceiling fan if asked nicely. Back in the garage, my phone buzzed. 1 buzz, pause, 2 more. David, my business partner, the signal. "Client issue, need you at the shop." Our escape hatch for when these dinners got unbearable. I looked out at the yard, snow falling. Lacey glowing in her designer coat like a department store angel, drinking praise like champagne. I pulled off my gloves, wiped my hands, and walked back into the house. Grabbed my jacket from the hook. "I have to go," I told my wife. "Business emergency." Her mom snapped around. "On Christmas Eve? Really?" "We're finalizing a sponsorship deal with Ironhead Motorsports," I said, calm as ever. That got heads to turn. Even Bowers perked up. My wife nodded. "Vince owns a business. They do full builds for collectors." Didn't matter. Lacey had already launched into some story about her condo deal with the Hendersons. I stepped outside, shut the door behind me. As I backed out of the driveway, snow dusted the windshield. I looked at my hands. Clean, grease gone. And I was done being the family handyman. I parked around back, like I always did when I swung by Ridgewood, kept things quiet. My father-in-law had some old blueprints of a vintage showroom we were helping consult on, and I'd left the portfolio in his office last month after a rushed meeting. David told me they were in a boardroom today, quarterly planning or something. Should have been a clean grab. Place was dead. Just one valet outside on his phone and the hum of vacuuming near the ballroom. I walked in through the side hallway that led to the members' wing. Marble floors, oil paintings of golfers no one remembers. That sterile country club smell, like leather and bleach. As I passed the reading room, I heard her. Lacey's laugh, that polished fake-ass laugh she uses at networking events. My stomach turned, but I didn't stop until I heard my mother-in-law's voice right behind it. "Vince has no clue we know about the Ironhead deal," she said, like she was sharing some juicy gossip. I froze. 1 step past the doorway, ears ringing. Lacey's voice followed. "The Walters are part of Ironhead's advisory board. Their daughter's in legal. She confirmed it. It's a $2 million package." My skin went ice cold. My hand tightened around the strap of the laptop bag I was carrying. "Keep your voice down," my father-in-law said. "Relax, Dad. Nobody's here on a Wednesday," Lacey snapped. I edged backward, slow, until I was just outside the sightline. I slipped behind a tall plant near the corner where the hallway bent toward the office wing. "Which is why this is our chance," Lacey said. "I've already been talking to vendors, dropped hints about cash flow issues. They're biting." My heart pounded so hard I could feel it in my throat. "This file has his suppliers, repeat clients, all of it," she went on. "I've been collecting names for months." "You're sure he won't find out?" her mom asked. "He's too proud to see the damage," she said, still out there with tools like a high schooler. Then her voice sharpened. "We can't let people think the mechanic's son-in-law is more successful than Lacey." I nearly stepped into the room right then, nearly ripped the folder out of her hands, but I didn't. I backed up slowly, my legs stiff, barely breathing. My mouth was dry. They knew exactly what I'd built, and they were trying to tear it down. That smug little smile from Bauer's wife, the ignored tray, the fake compliments. It all snapped into place. The supplier who ghosted us last quarter, the delayed check from Restore Edge, the weird question that collector in Michigan asked about my pending bankruptcy. I'd brushed it off. I shouldn't have. I stepped outside the building, still numb, and pulled out my phone. My thumbs moved on autopilot. Me. Emergency strategy meeting, 20 minutes. David answered before I could even put the phone away. David. I'll fire up the projector. By the time I pulled into our shop lot, my brain had switched tracks. I didn't feel betrayed anymore. I felt sharp, focused. They'd been playing offense, and I'd been sitting back, playing polite. Not anymore. I walked into the front office, past our trophy wall, past the signed photo of Chip Foose shaking my hand at SEMA last year. The place I built from scratch. No seed money, no real estate tricks. Just long hours, busted knuckles, and years of outworking everyone else. David was already at the main conference desk, laptop open, eyes wide. "You okay?" he asked. "No," I said, "but I've figured it out." "What?" I sat down across from him, tossed my keys on the table. "My wife's family isn't ignoring my success," I said. "They've been trying to kill it." David didn't flinch. He just turned to the projector and clicked open the vendor logs. "Thought I was paranoid," he said. "But I've been seeing it too. Weird cancellations, orders held up for dumb reasons, sudden cold shoulders from people we've worked with for years." I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. "Look at this." He read the text. "From our main paint supplier. Hey, heads up. Your sister-in-law just asked if you guys were still solvent. Seemed weird. Thought I'd check in." David raised his eyebrows. Ballsy. He clicked open a folder on his laptop labeled Family Interference. That name alone made my skin crawl. "There's more?" I asked. "Way more." He tapped the touchpad. The screen filled with screenshots and call logs, vendor notes, Yelp reviews posted from burner accounts. "I started collecting this crap 6 months ago. Anonymous reviews popped up every time your in-laws hosted something, like clockwork." He flipped to a spreadsheet, vendor names on the left, in-law events across the top. I scanned it. The patterns were obvious. The week after the family 4th of July barbecue, lost a tire supplier, after Lacey's birthday dinner, a vendor pulled out of a sponsorship. "Son of a bitch," I muttered. "They got into our books somehow." David nodded. "And they're feeding our competition." I cross-checked one of the anonymous emails with a tech contact at Apex Garage. Same phrasing, same claims. Stuff only someone inside would know. I leaned back, stunned but not surprised. "How'd they get that close?" "Lacey's been posing as your assistant," he said. "Used a Gmail with your shop name in it. Contacted at least 2 vendors, said she was coordinating quotes." I slammed my hand on the table, rattling the pens. "That's not petty, that's targeted sabotage." "No shit," David said. "This isn't just bruised egos. They want you out." I shook my head, jaw tight. "Then we fight back." David gave me a long look. "How?" I stared at the screen, at the pattern, at the gutless little game they had been running behind my back. "We document everything, every contact, every lie, every vendor they've poisoned." He sat back in his chair, arms crossed. "We building a case?" "Better," I said. "We're setting a trap." His eyes lit up. "You thinking what I'm thinking? Lunch, public, with Lacey." He grinned. "Let her talk herself right into it." I nodded, already pulling out my phone. "We'll do it at Trask's downtown. She loves that place. Thinks it makes her look like a power broker. Make the reservation. I'll prep the exhibits." I started typing out the message, short and sweet, casual. "Hey Lacey, want to grab lunch next week? Just us." David was already printing files. This wasn't family drama anymore. It was business. And they'd made it personal. Trask's had that clean, overpriced look. Glass walls, fake fire in the stone column, servers and vests. Lacey's kind of place. I grabbed the corner booth early and ordered water. Didn't need anything clouding my focus. She showed up 7 minutes late, probably on purpose. Cream blazer, gold heels, hair tied tight like she'd just stepped off a damn magazine cover. She had that same $1,000 smile she wore when she closed on condos. "You're early," she said, setting her purse down. "Not like you." "Got a lot to discuss." She arched a brow, slid into the seat across from me. Didn't even take off her coat. I pulled out the folder and placed it on the table between us. She glanced down, still smiling. "What's that?" she asked. I opened it slow. Vendor transcripts, forwarded emails, screen grabs, health inspection reports with her name flagged. Then the emails she sent using a fake Ironwood Gmail, ones she thought no one would trace. Her smile cracked, barely, but I saw it. "You've been busy," she said. I didn't answer. I just stared at her. She looked back at the papers, then leaned in. Her voice dropped. "You don't get it. Try me. You're not supposed to win, Vince." I let that sit for a second. "What does that mean?" I asked. "Mom spent years building our family's image," she said. "The way people see us, what they expect. A guy running a body shop, covered in grease, doesn't fit the brand. So you sabotage my business?" I protected the family name. By costing me six-figure deals? By making sure no one took you seriously, she said, like it was obvious, like it was reasonable. I leaned forward. "Well, Ironhead's taking me seriously." She gave a short, bitter laugh. "Not for long." "Wrong." I pulled out the last page, slid it across to her. An affidavit, signed and dated, from a supplier she impersonated, confirmed her fake account, her lies, and her attempts to alter vendor trust. Her face drained of color. "This is the last time you interfere with Ironwood," I said, keeping my voice calm, steady. "If I get even one more whiff of you in my books, or whisper of a vendor pulling out under concerns, I file. Full case. Fraud, impersonation, business interference." She blinked, staring down at the page. "And if we don't? You'll see me in court." She looked up, her smile gone now, just cold, calculating. "Mom won't let that happen." I smiled back. Let her try. The waiter came by. She waved him off. I didn't touch the steak I'd ordered, didn't even unwrap the silverware. She sat there, tight-jawed, probably running 100 angles in her head. But I was already done playing her game. I stood, grabbed the folder, and walked toward the door. Didn't say goodbye, didn't give her a chance to recover. The silence behind me said everything I needed to hear. I was done asking for respect. Now I was taking it. The next morning, just after 9, my phone lit up. Ironhead Motorsports, Derek Keller, VP of Development. I answered on the second ring. "Vince," he said, voice clipped, "we need to meet. Concerns were raised about your operations." I didn't blink. "You want in person or Zoom?" "In person. Tomorrow morning. Bring whoever you need." I hung up and turned to David, already pacing in front of the shop's back office. "They're spooked," I said. "She's not done." We went full lockdown. Sam pulled clean audit reports. David printed every glowing testimonial from past clients. I updated our pitch deck, the real one, with hard numbers, quarter-over-quarter growth, our highest-end restorations, current backlog, plus new endorsements from Barrett Jackson and Sema. We weren't just ready, we were armored. Then David burst into the room holding his laptop. "You're not going to believe this." "Hit me." "She hired Victoria Dunn." I froze. "That snake?" "Yep. Same PR exec we fired 3 years ago for pushing that fake press garbage. She's the one feeding Ironhead's board." He turned the screen so I could see it. Victoria was already listed as a brand advisor on some half-baked PDF presentation floating around investor circles, full of half-truths, edited screenshots, and redacted financials. She's been briefing them with anonymous concerns about Ironwood, vendor instability, missed deadlines, bogus OSHA violations. Coming straight from Lacey, through Victoria. "It's layered," David said. "Just enough smoke to make it look like fire." He pulled up another file. "And there's more. Lacey's been contacting our sponsors directly, under an alias. Rachel Maddox. My blood pressure spiked. What did she send? Fake concern emails, stuff like, just wanted to alert you to some troubling info about Ironwood, all unsigned, all timed right before sponsor reviews. Jesus Christ, I muttered, gripping the desk. She's trying to tank the Ironhead deal. David stared at the screen. This is criminal. No, I said. It's family. His eyes snapped to mine. That doesn't make it better. I walked to the window, looked out over the lot. Cold wind. Cars lined up, waiting for pickup. Real customers, real work, none of this fake image garbage. She's not just trying to knock us down, I said. She's trying to wipe us off the map. Why now? Because I embarrassed her. Because I fought back. David leaned against the wall. So, what's next? We go in there tomorrow and bury her in truth. Think they'll believe us? I turned back to him. They will, once they see what she left behind. And if they didn't, then they never deserved to work with us in the first place. We rolled up to Ironhead's HQ just before 10. Big glass building on the north end of Columbus. Polished, modern, all about image. But we didn't come to play dress up. It was me, David, and Sam. 3 guys in work boots and button-downs, not power suits. Didn't matter, we had facts. The receptionist already had our visitor passes ready. Boardroom 2, she said, not meeting my eyes. Upstairs, the door was open. Everyone was already seated. Long walnut table, 12 chairs, bottled water, lined up like a damn press event. Lacey sat near the end, legs crossed, looking smug. Her mom was 2 seats over, in some pearl-covered blazer like she was running for Congress. And there, at the far end, was Victoria Dunn, fake smile, tablet in hand. CEO Derek Keller stood as we walked in. Mr. D'Amico, thanks for coming. I shook his hand. Appreciate you making the time. He motioned for us to begin. We've heard concerns. We're here for answers. I opened the folder and laid out the first slide. Let's start with the truth. 30 minutes. That's how long I spoke. Straight through. Calm. Clear. I went piece by piece. Real financials, vendor timelines, signed affidavits. Showed the call logs, date-stamped emails, even phone screenshots. All proof of sabotage. All traceable to one source. Sam backed me up with growth charts and hard comparisons. Ironwood's beat industry averaged 12 out of the last 14 quarters. Our repeat client rate is 78%. There are no red flags, except the ones being fabricated. David followed with the knockout. He hit play on the voicemail. Lacey's voice filled the room. She was pretending to be a potential buyer, calling one of our big clients. Trashing us. Making up lies about recalls, unpaid labor, lawsuits, every word designed to scare them off. The room went still, not awkward, not tense, dead still. I looked at each of them, board members, executives, decision makers. This isn't about our operations, I said. This is family politics dressed up as concern. Victoria looked like she wanted to disappear. Lacey sat frozen, arms crossed now, eyes locked on the table. Her mom leaned in and whispered something to her, but she didn't react. Derek finally spoke. We've seen enough. He stood. Ironwood Customs gets the contract, he said. You've shown more integrity than any shop we've met, and more professionalism than some people in this room. He didn't look at Lacey when he said it, but he didn't have to. She shot out of her seat, snatched her purse, and stormed out. Her heels echoed down the hall like gunshots. I didn't say a word. Didn't smile, just started packing up the folder. Sam let out a low whistle. David leaned over and said, "She's gonna lose her damn mind." "Let her," I said. We shook hands with the board, thanked them, and walked out like we owned the place. Because now, we did. 6 months later, I was standing in that same garage. But it didn't belong to my in-laws anymore. It belonged to me. After the Ironhead deal closed, I made an offer on the property. All cash, no counter. My father-in-law didn't even ask what I planned to do with it. He just handed over the keys and avoided eye contact. Now it was Ironwood East, our second location. Open house day. Vendors, longtime clients, a couple automotive press guys from Detroit. The place smelled like fresh polish and hot metal, and the shop floor buzzed with soft rock, loud laughter, and camera shutters. David was out front giving a full tour, showing off our precision line. Sam had a half circle of journalists around our newest electric custom build, explaining torquey curves like it was a TED Talk. I moved from group to group, shaking hands, taking photos, talking expansion. Texas next. Maybe Phoenix after that. I hadn't heard from Lacey since the Ironhead fallout. She disappeared like smoke. Her mom sent a basic congrats card after the Forbes piece dropped. No call, no mention of what happened. Just a short note signed in cursive and a printed headline clipped inside. Small town mechanic lands 3-point Svenfulmi stars deal with Ironhead Motorsports. No family name, no background story. Just the numbers, the business, the growth. My wife stood beside me most of the afternoon. She didn't say much, just kept her hand on my back during introductions, smiling when people asked how long we'd been building the company. "Proud of you," she whispered once while I was pouring coffee for the city planner. "Thanks," I said. Just after 5, I spotted my father-in-law near the entrance, standing alone, no champagne, no small talk. We locked eyes. He gave a short nod. I nodded back. That was enough. Later that night, after the crowds were gone and the shop was quiet, I cracked a beer and stepped out onto the back concrete pad. Same view, same cold air. But everything was different now. Inside, the lights glowed over a spotless floor. The hum of a compressor faded in the distance. Voices echoed faintly as David wrapped up with the last group of stragglers. I sat on the step, let the cold bite through my jeans, took a long sip. I built this, not with their help, in spite of it. I checked my phone, one new email, another sponsor asking for a meeting next week. The back door creaked open. David stepped out, stretching his arms. "You ready for Denver?" he asked. I nodded. "Flight's booked," he smirked. "Let's make sure they can't ignore us again." I raised my beer. They already can't.